Hey, I'm Claire,
And I'm Janice.
and this is The X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
We are breakup coaches here to help you beat your breakup
Heal your broken heart.
and move on to an amazing, abundant life. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of X-Files. We hope that you are doing really well on your healing journey and coping with everything, and that the fall is treating you well so far.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's fall.
What a year.
Yeah.
So we love all of our listeners, and we are always rooting for you completely. We're your little cheerleaders on the side, and we want you to succeed, and we know that you can, and we're really thankful for you being here with us today. I feel like we're coming up on a year, even though we're totally not. But I always want to thank people for, getting this far with us and for all the support. Our audience is so incredible. We're so thankful for you.
Yes.
So how are you all doing with your breakups? Would you like some extra support or speak one-on-one with us about what you've been going through and what it might look like to work with us? Because besides doing the podcast, we work one-on-one with people to heal their broken heart, to look toward the future, and we would love that to be you. All you have to do is send us a DM. Instagram is best right now, and we'll be in touch to get you set up with a free consult to discuss options.
Awesome.
Yeah, we can also be reached in our Facebook group, Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On. But Claire and I spend more time on Instagram, so you might have a little more luck catching us over there.
Yes. Yeah,
we love our IGs.
Yeah, we love hearing from listeners. We love getting podcast episode requests.
Yeah.
We love getting questions. We answer them every week in our private Facebook group as kind of a live coaching option. But if you need more, one-on-one coaching is where it's at. So definitely encourage you to reach out. And, we right now have this great option of, I think, do you do 30 minutes as well?
It depends on the package they're interested in, but yes, 20 or 30 minutes to answer questions about it.
Yeah, cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a great way to get a feel for
I also
what working with us is like.
Yes, for sure. And if you just want to chat, I do what I call the fireworks session, which is a paid 1-hour consult to just make an action plan for the next 2 weeks. It's a one-off that I offer, one time per person. And that's an option that I can send you.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So chances are we have something that'll work for you. So get in touch, and we'd love to help and be there to support you. So yeah. But today's episode is about something fun. I mean, you've clicked on it, so but do you feel like maybe you can't quite get it right when it comes to selecting someone to go the distance with? This episode is for you. Now, you've probably heard someone say they have a broken picker or a bad picker. So what does that even mean? Today, we're going to get into it, and we're going to talk about where it could possibly be coming from, because awareness is a big foundation for change.
If you're saying you have a broken picker, I would say that's a good start.
That's a great start. Yeah, you're aware that your choices actually impact your relationship success. Wow. What a concept. So I think it's really, really good. I'm excited to talk about it today. So some people choose people who might not be a good fit out of inexperience or ignorance. I think this is typical for the first few relationships, where you're just so excited that someone likes you, and you're not thinking critically about okay, are our future plans in line with each other? Do we even know what our future plans are? Especially when you're really young. You're figuring out what you like, what you actually want for your life. That is not what society is just telling you to do. And so you can end up dating people who might not be a good fit for you out of ignorance or inexperience.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about today. Today, we're talking about people who choose the wrong person again and again, and each time feels like deja vu.
Yeah.
Like, for example, this could be only dating the emotionally unavailable person, or, you know, people who like date people that, you know, all their friends are like, obviously this isn't a good fit. Or they don't want to date the person who is a good fit. And instead they're like, no, we're just friends. There isn't that spark. So we've talked a lot about the spark. So
yeah, but maybe it's almost time to do an episode on the spark.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it has come up quite repeatedly.
Yeah.
Something else that I hear from a lot of people, and also that I've done, is that you might date someone or over and over again who doesn't show like kind of toxic behaviors until, you know, several months in. And that's, you know, a pattern that a lot of people find themselves in. I think a lot of women feel like they find themselves in, and just like, why does this keep quote happening to me? Why do I keep doing this?
Yeah, he like somehow was just like a totally different person when we first started dating. And now that, you know, I think I heard somewhere that someone can't like pretend to be someone else or something they're not for more than 3 months. And that's that makes sense. Of like where you start seeing true colors and things like that. So if you find yourself in that situation again and again where you're like, oh my God, 3 to 4 months in, they just like turn into a not cool person. This could be what's happening to you. And you're like, how would I know? But we're going to get into it. So
how do you know if you have a broken picker? You might feel like the same issues always come up. You feel like you date the same person, just a different name. I've heard of this. You gravitate towards certain people, even though they don't fit with the type of relationship you want, or you say you want. You know, it's a matter, your actions got to line up with what you say. So, Claire, do you have any personal experience with having a broken picker?
Yeah. I've typically been pretty good about dating people who aren't just in my type. However, I definitely, you know, a couple years ago when I was like kind of on the dating scene as like a grown up for the first time, I was like seeking out what I thought was my type, which was the people that I thought were hot. And it was generally like men in masculine sort of positions with masculine sort of pursuits, like men in uniform, adventurous people. And what I found is that our ideologies typically never matched. And so I think that they were super hot, but like we literally had nothing in common.
But maybe I mean some chemistry, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely some chemistry there. However, you know, I was like purposely kind of being like this, so it's not exactly a broken picker. It was more like what I find hot on a poster might not be hot for me in a relationship. You know, like in like the idea of someone was better than the reality. And so, you know, that was like an example that's like pretty conscious. And so then I was like, okay, you need to stop just finding guys who are fitting this like outward description and start, you know, going outside of that. And so what about you?
Yeah, I definitely feel like my problem, in quotes, when it comes to relationships has been my picker, for sure. I feel like I'm good at communicating. I feel like I'm good in relationships, but that I do, as many listeners will know in the past, moved very, very quickly. And I know I had probably 3 or 4 times in a row when I was living in Australia, where I actually got into exclusive relationships with men rather quickly, and then to see it kind of fall apart because of pretty much the same reason, getting annoyed at them being quite overbearing, kind of losing some of the excitement after, month 3 or so, and just kind of having them fall apart, where in the beginning it just seemed like, yes, this is great, everything is wonderful, this is it, and then realizing that I should have been paying a lot more attention and being a lot more intentional and slow. Everyone listen to my slow down episode, please. Yes. I'll link it in the show notes.
It's cool to go slow.
Yes,
and we're absolutely not talking like, oh, you need to like not sleep with anyone until the 3rd date. Like, we're talking emotionally slow yourself down. Mm-hmm. Don't get attached like so quickly.
Yeah, be like, I would say putting off sex if you think that it might be relationship worthy. It could be prudent. And FYI, everyone, we also work with people on, dating early days stuff.
Yeah.
So having someone to talk to. And then along those lines, I did have always my friends when I was going through this in Australia. Everyone was always like, what are you doing? Like, no. So yes, I don't know. I think I'd probably have a lot more luck these days, but I definitely got to a point with my last relationship where I thought, it is about my selection. That is the problem. Yes.
Yeah.
So I've been looking forward to this episode.
I mean, the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, yeah, actually, because for me, it's not just like what someone looks like and what they do. It's also like a lot about how they market themselves, which is typically not going to be someone who's really good at like talking themselves up and making them seem amazing. Is probably not going to be like as successful a relationship for me long term. But in the beginning, I'm like, wow, you are amazing. Like, wow, this is so cool. Especially like the the toxic relationship that I reference where, he went kind of stalker in the end. That one in particular, he was a very good talker. Like extremely good talker. And it was like over time that I'm like, oh, you're just full of shit. Like all the time.
Do you repeatedly date people who are full of shit? Yeah. You might want to look at your picker.
Yes. So I guess I do, like, I tend to be kind of on the naive side and be like, I take people at face value, and that's really nice for them. But people can take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks. But yeah, broken picker. Maybe I do have a broken picker. So, but I'm like pretty aware of it now. I'm pretty aware of it now. And I'm like, yo, if someone's like seems too good to be true, they probably are.
Yes. Yeah. And I would definitely move a lot slower. I was very sad when my last relationship ended, because I could see everything that I did that kind of caused it to move too fast and for me to ignore things. And that it really, really stuck with me too, that, I need to take a break from dating and I need to figure this out, because you're doing the same thing over and over. So I think that I would be a lot more selective.
Maybe that was your breaking point and you're like,
oh yeah,
that's it, I'm done. Yes. I'm done with that.
Yes. Right.
So so there's some things that can create our picker. So number one, what we saw growing up, our childhood, it just affects us endlessly. So this could be, what your parents' relationship looked like. It also could be what your parents seemed to admire in others. Like, we're very impressionable when we're young. And so, the things that are pointed out to us as this is good and this is bad, those sort of things do like tend to stick with us, and we might not remember exactly where it came from. It's just kind of always been there. And you never know what sort of like offhand comments or like not explained to you situation that left an impression that is now informing what you think relationships should look like from your childhood. So another impactful thing on your picker could be your experience dating, especially that first love and really impactful experiences that can really, it can change how you pick people for better or for worse. So like what Janice was saying is this last relationship that ended, it was very impactful, and we're hoping that means that the cycle is coming to a close. So that's like a really positive, a positive impact. But it can go the other way too. If you have a really traumatizing time with someone, that can really change how you perceive the world and how you date and how you choose people.
That's why I've waited so long, as I was just like, this is causing me so much stress and agony. I'm just gonna cut it all out.
Give myself like an emotional break for a little bit instead of just continuing to layer experience on experience.
And just because people want to date me doesn't mean that I have to. It's actually very empowering for me to say that I'm gonna stop, despite having,
I love that. You're like, of course people love me. Of course people want to date me. I'm just not ready right now.
It's not exactly what I said, but
no,
kind of.
But that's what I'm telling you. Of course people want to date you. You're amazing. So, okay. And then another thing that it can impact this is trauma, like big T, little t. Everyone experiences some of it. It's not necessarily just the really awful things like we hear about war or abuse. Life can just be traumatizing, and it's not a competition just because you're like, well, what I've experienced isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things. Like it still is traumatizing, and anything you've experienced that has like given you, like if you feel like you have trauma that is authentic and that is worthy of you taking time and being giving yourself grace, even if it's like, well, this other person went through something way worse, like it's not a competition.
No, I always like to say we're not playing the oppression Olympics here. Your experience is valid, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And so, whatever you have experienced that has left that trauma with you, can be affecting your picker. And so any way that you can move through that and process it and come to terms with it and gain awareness of it, all of those things is going to help you down the line, regardless of where it stands on the, the
spectrum of suffering.
The spectrum of suffering. That's a great movie title or album title.
Paperback.
Just like a emo screamo like band. Spectrum of suffering.
No one steal it.
No one steal it. Now it's recorded, so we're gonna get credit for it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, but we are open to anyone purchasing that title. Just DM us. Anyway, so another thing that can inform our picker is society and pop culture, the things the people we look up to, the storylines that really made an impact on our hearts. Vampire Diaries basically screwed us all up. Like
go on. I wasn't into it.
I mean, I watched it like 10 years after it premiered, as I do with like everything. So I wasn't too young when I was watching it, but like the whole there just wasn't like a good love interest that one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like there was Matt, he was like a pretty stable guy, but of course no one wanted to date Matt. They wanted to date what was it? Damon. He was like the really bad vampire who just like killed people willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
And then the quote good choice, his brother Stefan. Oh god. Yeah. He was trying really good to be he was trying really hard to be good and like eating deer blood instead of human blood because he turns into a fucking like mass murderer if he tastes human blood.
Okay.
Like
All
that's
right.
not a good message either. Like,
No.
so
Agreed.
anyway, you know, it's kind of like one of those things like, oh, he's so great unless he drinks like a drop of alcohol and then he turns into a super abusive, like blackout drunk.
Mm-hmm.
That was the message, you know? And so it's like
gotcha.
glamorizing that.
Yeah.
And I just wrote down Vampire Diaries, but I think we could think about like pretty much any TV show is going to have really toxic examples of what love is. I mean, you could even think like New Girl. Have you watched New Girl?
Not in a long time.
Okay.
I have watched it.
Yeah. So like, I mean, Cece and Schmidt. Yeah, Cece and Schmidt.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh my God, it was so cool. They like ended up together and everything. And they are great characters. And like on the spectrum of things, they weren't like that bad, but still Schmidt like acted like an asshole like most of the time because he had such like bad insecurities.
Oh God.
And Cece like would like toxically hook up with people who were not like the right person for her. And there was trying to this like glamorization of them ending up together. And I guess, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll cut that part out, but because I haven't really worked it through in my head. But
okay. But I do agree. I don't know. As far as the bad picker goes, I can't think of an example, but I do think, yeah, pop culture doesn't have good examples of relationships, mostly being that it portrays, because they're shows, and so they have to build tension. There's a lot of will they or won't they, and going back and forth on and off again in pop culture. I mean, Friends being, you know, the most classic and obvious example. You know, they ended up together in the end, but people know you do not have to go back and forth with someone for 8 years, you know, and torture yourself. Big Bang Theory as well, you know, portrayed a couple who went on and off, and then ended up together. No.
Twilight.
Yeah. I will refer to our Twilight Happy Hour episode if you want to hear what we really think about it.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, yeah. So anyway.
And another thing that just occurred to me as far as what determines your picker, a lot of it goes back to self-esteem and what you think you deserve. And a lot, especially women, get really caught up with, you know, dating people who give them a lot of attention in the beginning because of their self-worth. So I wanted to make sure to mention that. So do you think that you have a bad picker? How do you change it? I know that this is something that people have control over and that you can change. So we've got a lot of insight into how to do this. So if you are willing to give this a bit of attention, you can. And this is how you do it. First of all, don't blame having a bad picker for your problems and for being in unhappy relationships. Take responsibility for your role in selecting people. All right. Your picker doesn't have control over you. All right. This is not an excuse to continually put yourself in bad situations and select people to date who you're not compatible with and who don't treat you right. All right. It's all on you. I think that we're becoming quite passive in our society with saying that this is just how I am. And so therefore, this is what I do. And you know what? You actually have a lot more control than you might be giving yourself credit for.
Yeah, exactly. Like this happens a lot with attachment styles. It's just
I was going to say
you are not just this way. Like, this is only one box you've put yourself into, and you get to change it whenever you want to.
It's driving me crazy. Yeah. People are just excusing doing such horrible things to themselves because of their attachment style. And that's not what it's meant to be for. Yeah. It's meant to, it's meant to be information that gives you power, not excuses, and not excuses not excuses to let someone else's bad behavior go either. They're just avoidant. That's just how they are.
Yeah. And if you want to learn more about that, definitely get in touch with me, because we'll talk about all of that. And also, when you're going through a breakup, you're going to be more on the anxious style, like, obviously, because you're like heartbroken. And that's actually not what, the situation in your life is not how you determine your attachment style.
Yes.
You actually determine it based on your baseline, how you are when things aren't going wrong.
Yes. So very good point. And even if you consider yourself to be anxiously attached, you can still modify how you show up.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
take responsibility. All right. Yes. Next, get curious. Does this pattern remind you of anyone you know? What is it that you look for in someone, and what need do these qualities meet that perhaps your child self never got?
Yes. Yeah. So like the attention thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always kind of glamorized romance growing up, and
Same.
we weren't allowed to date or be serious with people, and so anytime I did, it would kind of be done rather secretly, which isn't really the best way to learn about relationships. Yeah. And then, so when I was going to BYU, previous to going to college, I had also always had, suitors in high school and whatnot. But when I was at BYU, seriously, no one liked me.
No,
it was crazy. Like, I didn't get asked out. And obviously it was, because I was struggling with my faith, and it's kind of like the more religious you can be, the more attention you'll get. And
I've heard it's like the freshman proposals and stuff there.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe that was a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But it ingrained in me like this, kind of desire for attention and desire to be sought after, being around, all of my, flatmates would get asked out quite regularly. And so after that, I felt like I kind of craved more attention for sure. And so I do tie
formative experience.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I tie a lot of my future patterns back to that experience for sure.
Oh my God. Yeah. And that could be like bullying. It could be just not getting asked out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember in high school, I always wanted to like be asked out, and I did not get asked out in high school. Yeah. I think my first boyfriend actually went to a different high school, and it was a blind date, and it just kind of flowed from there. So yeah, I can kind of relate to that, where it's like, yeah, no one picked me in high school for me. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, especially considering like the rest of my dating and romantic history. It was definitely like this weird like outlier.
Yeah, you're like, what is with that college?
A little. Yeah, it didn't do me any favors. Yeah. Was not the best for my self-esteem. So another way that you can change this is another theme that's been running through our episodes is intentionally trying to date someone or people who aren't your type.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's just that. And I'd say just try it, especially if you are on the apps and someone seems cool and has, might tick some other boxes. Just, give it a go. See what you think. I mean, you can't just keep on doing the same thing over and over and expecting, different results, as they like to say. It's very true. So this is a good one. Consume content from people whose relationships mirror what you want. Do some research here. Make this an experiment. Make this something that you're going to learn about. This helps you reprogram your subconscious.
Yes. Yeah. And just even having like that awareness when you see a relationship that you don't want, telling yourself in your head or out loud, I don't want that. And just
Yeah.
bringing awareness to the fact that it's like, not that, not that,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah. Yep.
as you go through the world. But yeah, consciously seeking out and consuming content from people who you admire,
Yeah.
people who you want their lives. This also, I would suggest, don't take advice from people who don't have the life that you want or who have never achieved the things that you want. So
Yeah.
like if you're listening to your friend who definitely has a bad picker and she's like, oh no, he's boring, like,
Yeah, everyone, and like be
yeah,
really selective with who you talk about these types of things with,
yeah,
and what exactly you focus on, because subconsciously you can really take some of this stuff on that's really
yeah,
unhealthy and toxic. You don't have to talk about your relationships and your dating life with everyone.
yeah,
There's lots of other things that you can do with your friends, and you might have a great friend who has really toxic relationship patterns. They're still a great friend, but
yeah.
maybe, yeah, do other things with them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. I think we talked about this a little bit with Trey Anthony, where she's like,
Oh, yes.
yeah, she was saying, um, people give advice from where they're standing in life, so like one friend could be like, it's really hard to find someone who's good and, need to stick it out and, make it work with this person that you feel like maybe it's not working with. And another friend is like, no, single life for life, like
Mhm.
break up with his ass, like get out there, I'm like, you saw what happened with me and this person, and both of those were the correct advice for those people, but they're not the right advice for you. And
Yep.
I think that's why like coaching and therapy and like self-exploration journaling are so good, because it's tuning into what is right for you. And it might not be something that's right for person A, B, or C. But if you can get in touch with what is right for you, as long as it's, like some qualifiers on that, like I don't think anyone should be in an abusive relationship,
Right.
even if
Well,
you
and
love
but
it, like
you can be encouraged to even stay in those types of situations. It
exactly.
happened to me.
Yeah,
And
where
I
they're like,
think,
well, he's never hit you. And it's like, well, okay, that shouldn't be the bar.
yes.
Like,
Or he
so
seems this, like, so many things.
yeah.
Or I love, oh, but you guys seem so happy. Or, you
Oh,
just go
mhm.
together. Yes. So I think just slowing down and just letting yourself think things through rather than going to someone else for everything can be really beneficial. And it's also something that can be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But if you learn to listen to what your intuition is telling you, you will be able to make better choices on your own. I used to
Yes.
be the type of person, when anything happened, seriously, I would immediately call someone, cry to them, ask for their input. What should I do? And since moving back to the States, I realized that, shit's hit the fan here and there. And I had the impulse, like, who am I going to call? Who can I reach out to?
Yeah.
And just deciding, no, deal with this on your own. It really helps you to make much, much, much better decisions
Yeah.
rather than grappling with what one person says versus what you kind of feel.
Yeah. And then especially if you're, kind of on the people pleasing spectrum, then you're like, well, what will this friend say if I don't
Yes.
take her advice?
Right.
And then you have so
Definitely.
much more to think
Yes.
about.
Yep.
And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because I was that person too. I'm like, well, they told me to do this. And now it's like, I feel like I need to actually not do what they said. But now
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be like, well, why the fuck did I give you that advice anyway?
Yes. Yep.
So
It's very true. Just
yeah.
definitely learn how to do these things on your own. I think if you're going to date someone new, don't tell everyone until you're several dates in. I think one person needs to know where you are for safety purposes, and
Yeah.
that's all. So, but
Yeah.
we can talk more about that on another episode. All right.
Yeah.
Another way to improve your pickup is seek someone who will compliment you, not complete you. Please, please, please don't go out there because you feel a void in your life and you think that the one thing missing is your soulmate. That is just not a good foundation for a relationship. We've said it time and again, but it's something that I think is really, really true. And it's definitely going to help you because you're select someone who also wants to compliment you and not complete you, and who wants you to compliment them, not complete them. It's a great way to start out. But unfortunately, a lot of people out there think that it's going to, dating is going to help solve, the void, solve the loneliness. And it doesn't. It just creates more problems.
Yeah. And like, one of the things for this that I think people struggle with is that they're waiting for their partner to come along in order to like do the farmer's market or go travel Europe or, go on like a horseback riding trip or something. They're waiting for someone to go with. And one of the things we're going to talk about, and by the time this comes out, we'll either have done it or it'll be coming up soon.
It's going to be solo
travel.
Soon,
coming up soon. Cool. Yeah, is solo travel, especially as a woman, like there's just a few extra things to think about for safety. And so we're actually going to have a guest on to talk about that. You don't have to wait for a partner. And in fact, if you're already doing the things you want to do with a partner, you're going to attract and you're going to be attractive to someone who wants to do the same shit.
Completely. It's true. And I wish people would believe us when we say it.
And it's hard. It's also uncomfortable, but
it is. Yes. And it means that you have to go slow, and it means that you might be alone for longer than you want. But if you're looking for actual like long-term relationships, and like I also said in the slow down episode, if you're looking for someone to complete you, you go too fast, because as soon as you're attracted to someone, it's like, woo, the one. Yes. And then before you know it, you're sitting there thinking, what was I thinking?
What was I thinking?
And everyone, it's not always, but these are what the rules, not the exceptions.
If your family has unhealthy relationships and you think that has perhaps affected your picker, it can help to just make yourself hyper aware that you don't want what they have. Even having a little mantra like, I will make healthier choices, or I find it unattractive when fill in the blank. And just repeat those to yourself when you are around those relationships that you can't avoid, and they're just there. They're part of your landscape of your life.
And I think a lot of people blame so much on their family of origin, and it explains a lot. But just as with attachment style, just as with having a broken picker, these things don't dictate what you do. And once you realize what they are, I do definitely think you can get out of these cycles.
Yes. This is all possible for you too. So next up, don't fall for the project or someone you feel like you can rescue. I'm the worst about this. I like helping people. I wonder why I'm in this line of work. So I'm like, oh, but like they need help. And just really be aware of that. What were you going to say?
Well, just that it's good to help people, but it's never good when you sacrifice yourself or when you put them first. It's just not. I really, really believe. And also, it's just the cliche that everyone loves to use is the oxygen mask. If you're constantly putting on someone else's oxygen mask before your own, you're not going to be there for yourself or others.
Or stop getting on planes that go fucking down. Like,
there you go. That too.
Maybe be like, this has happened like 3 times in a row where the plane starts going down and everyone's oxygen masks are popping down from the ceiling. Maybe don't get on that plane. Maybe take a train. No oxygen masks on a train needed.
True story.
So just make different choices and be aware of perhaps like you know, this does come with experience. Like, I don't want anyone to be like, oh, I've done this 3 times, so now like it's a pattern and I'm just like doomed to repeat it.
Oh yeah, girl,
No.
I've done it more than 3 times. You know, I totally get it. This is a non-judgment zone for sure.
Exactly. And just be gentle with yourself. And that awareness that's coming is going to help you make different choices. But yeah, be aware that, you know, when someone starts talking about how you're like the only thing in their life that's going right, or, you know, they start saying that they love you and things like that, like a little too early. They've never felt this way before. Those are all kind of, like,
or just going, like you're just gonna I think talk about, but just going overboard on the compliments so early on.
Love
yes
bombing.
And you know what, people, lines are lines, and they might be good lines, but that doesn't mean that, you know, when someone tells you they haven't felt like this in ages, it's, you know, a good thing to say, but you know, it shouldn't determine you know the choices and if you decide to move forward or not.
I
It
love
might
what
make
you
you
said.
feel the feels, but
I love what you said about lines are lines. Like I definitely I've experienced that, and I actually, because I kind of like write a little on the side. I started like a note section on my phone, writing down like the lines he was using. And I was like, oh, these are so romantic. I need to find it. I need to see if I still have it. I might have deleted it out of spite at the time,
no,
but
that's
I
not
should
a
have
bad
saved
thing.
it.
That's not a bad thing. You could probably remember some of them if you thought about
some
it.
of them, they were really good. You know, and I was like, oh, these are so good. I'm going to use these in my writing. Like, wow, like, isn't this so romantic? And I'm like, maybe that was a red flag. Like, if they're so good that you're writing that shit down regularly.
If it's early on, I would say that it could be a red flag. But then also just to remind yourselves that, you know, you use lines when you're courting someone. It might not be a red flag.
We all use lines.
If
you said it, someone's probably said it before. But no one said it like you did. So you are unique, but we're also repeating a lot of shit. So anyway, next up, watch for actions, not words. I mean, that kind of builds off of what we were saying. Is, you know, someone's actions speak louder than words, and they may really truly mean the words in the moment, but when it came down to making a choice on how they act and what they do, that's what matters.
I've been through this with my family recently, and it's just like none of your actions are matching, you know, like the couple of words that you say, and what you are actually deciding to do, you know, is really hurtful. And, you know, and again, it's a decision of where you are going to decide to continue to show up in the relationship. And I would say, actions for sure. It's really hard. I mean, it's easy to say anything. You know, it takes a lot more effort to actually do things.
Okay. And then watch out for anyone who isolates you, love bombs you, or any other toxic red flag. And so like isolating, you're like, oh, shouldn't that be obvious? Like, that's super obvious. But it can start out as like, oh, your friend's kind of mean to you, like, or things like that.
Or I want to spend time with you. I want to talk to you. I miss you. It can start out being really romantic. For sure. And as soon as you see a red flag, you don't have to continue. Stop it. Put on the brakes. Get out.
And like, if someone doesn't think that was a red flag and they're like, what are you talking about? That wasn't a red, like why are you breaking up with me over something like that? And it's like,
doesn't matter.
Maybe this is a learning lesson for them. If they weren't actually in fact toxic and they were showing a toxic trait, like, wow, they should really learn from that and not do that again. So I
think if you feel like you've had a broken picker in the past, then as intentional as you want to be moving forward, it is still possible that in the early days you could continue to, call in or attract and do the same things.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of just putting on the brakes as soon as you see it and getting out if you want to turn this around.
Yeah, actually, I'd argue that it's definitely at first you're going to see the same thing, because it's almost like the universe is saying, like, did you learn your lesson yet?
Yeah.
And you have to be like, yes, I did. And then the universe is like, okay, we'll give you something different then. But we just had to like double check, make sure you were there, make sure you got
Definitely,
it.
yeah. Dating's about practice as well.
Exactly.
And this is, especially if you have ongoing, years of doing the same thing. Yeah, probably take a little practice to get out of it, which is totally fine.
Yeah. And most important of all, my final point, improve your own self-worth. This is about getting into your subconscious and rewiring those unconscious beliefs that you have, that you hold there about what you deserve. This is obviously not something you can do in one sitting. And this is where coaching can contribute greatly, because, listening to a podcast is starting that process, but it's not something that listening to podcasts alone is going to do for you. Like, this is about making sure your environment is supporting the new belief system that you want and your self-worth, that you're doing the journaling, that you're, doing affirmations, and possibly diving into other modalities like adult chair, hypnosis, meditation, and more. Yeah. It's about getting in there, because consciously, I'm this way too. Consciously, I'm like, I'm fucking awesome. Like, of course I have high self-worth. And we've talked about this before in other episodes. My default programming is that I have really self-worth, but everyone else deserves, like I have to come second to everyone else. Like everyone else's needs come before mine. Because I am strong and I am awesome and I can do that. So it's like a really weird like flip there that I have to be aware of, where I'm like, oh, look, you're putting someone else before you again.
It sounds like almost like a superwoman complex.
Yeah. It's kind of savior-ish. Yeah. It's a superwoman complex. Like, I'm like, I deserve the best.
I got this. I can handle it.
I deserve the best. And yet, like, everyone else deserves really good too. And so I'm going to be robbing them of something if I leave or cut this short for my own needs, Yeah. Right.
So you gotta practice saying no, girl.
I gotta practice saying no. So still working on that one, but I'm very aware of it,
Yes. And that's the thing, awareness. Yeah. The fact that you're able to even say all of this says a lot about, your desire to change your own patterns and your ability to self-reflect. And that's incredible.
Exactly. Because for the longest time I was like, I don't know, like, I did, like, that doesn't apply to me. I have great self-worth. Like, same. I know what I deserve. Yeah. But
I feel like I'm very confident as well. But then when it comes to, continuing this pattern, I would think, I deserve to be swept off my feet, rather than, considering that I also deserve to have a meaningful relationship with
a stable, someone who, long-term, healthy relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. And all of these things, do become easier when you have support. And like, obviously we're super biased. We are coaching, we are coaches, we are offering these services. So, like, use them.
Yes. I think one thing that's really cool about, our type of coaching is that we first often work with people to look back at their relationship, heal from it, and then, slowly start getting out there again. And so we can really pinpoint, I thought you said you didn't want that, or okay, let's be intentional. What are you looking for? Yeah. How are you going to do things different from what, you told me last month?
Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
You know where to find us.
Yeah, it can just help you manifest, like, and not just like the woo-woo manifest, but like,
that too, girl.
Yeah, that too, for sure. But also, make sure you're choosing things that actually support what you really want, and not just
yes,
like a child need.
Yep.
from
And are
inside.
your actions lining up with your words?
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, so that was amazing. Do you have anything to close with?
I just want to reiterate that I think that it's entirely possible to change this. So
Yeah.
before we go on to Breakup Ballads, we'd love to know what you thought. If you thought we had good insights, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Screenshot it to me in a DM, and we will be in touch with a special thank you in the mail. So,
Awesome.
And with that, we've got another edition of Breakup Ballads, Toxic or Empowering. Claire has been looking forward to doing this one, which is a gorgeous song.
Yes.
So before we begin, do you want to say anything about why it was important to you to do this song?
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. So we've talked about the Messy Path before, and this song was actually on a Messy Path episode. And we were in the Facebook group one day, and basically our Facebook group started raving about one of the songs that was featured on the Messy Path episode. And like one comment was like, hey, I usually have trouble like expressing my feelings and letting them out. And this song and this album just opened those floodgates for me and was just like a huge relief. Like if anyone else needs that, like here it is. She just dropped it in on the wall. And the comments afterwards, I'm like, oh my God, I need to listen to the song because I hadn't actually at the time. Oh, it's so good. So anyway,
very
I loved
heartfelt.
it. Very heartfelt. And like our group has really enjoyed it too. So I'm like, more people need to know about this because it's clearly very impactful. And so we're now including it on an episode. So thank you, Whitney and Ariel, for like having this out there.
Yeah, that was a great episode. So we're talking about Messy Path podcast, and a few weeks back they did an entire podcast episode just talking about songs that have impacted their life. I thought it was great idea.
Yes.
So check them out.
Here we go. This is Release, or let me double check if it's just Release.
It's Release.
Yeah, it's just Release. Okay. So Release by Grace Potter. I love this song. So
okay. I know I caused this pain. I know you can't let me go. Crying in the midnight rain, waiting on a miracle.
Oof.
So definitely, like I said, heartfelt, and just the feeling of, I guess, a little bit of regret when it comes to knowing that you have to end things, and there's nothing that you can do to make it easier for either of you.
Yeah. This song is definitely from the perspective of the person ending things, and seeing how much pain they're causing. Someone that they love or loved, they just know they can't be with them.
I like the perspective though, because I think people sometimes stay in things because they're worried about the impact that it's going to make to end them. And it doesn't mean that you need to continue on because you're just going to probably prolong it.
Yeah, exactly. So the next verse, even if I'm in your arms, even if you touch my skin, I could never change my heart after being where it's been.
I love it. I love the awareness here. Yeah. I'm kind of a person who likes to just avoid the inevitable and avoid facing the reality of relationships having gone sour. And I think it's really cool that she's just saying this is just how it is, and I can't deny it.
And saying like, even if she stayed physically, her heart isn't in it anymore. And like you've probably experienced this. Once you have a realization, like you just can't go back to who you were before the realization.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like cutting it off there. But do you want to do all of the chorus?
I got it. I release you, though it's hard to say the words. and I release you. From holding on to the bridge I burned, I release you from the darkness, from the love that we swore was true. I hope that someday the sun will shine again and you'll release me too. Oh my God.
My God. I literally have chills right now.
Oh, it is very, very sad.
It's hauntingly sad.
It really, really is. And it's beautifully sung too. Everyone go and listen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and what we're constantly telling our community and saying on this show is breakups are very sad and they're a part of life. And the sadness will eventually end as well. Mm-hmm. And that feeling this way is a part of the process.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, yeah, you can tell she really wants the best for this person, even though in the short term, she's really hurting them. In the long term, like the sun will shine again and they'll be able to move on. And, you know, it's, even though it's hard to do, it's hard to say the words, holding on to a bridge that's burnt.
Yeah.
Like that's not fair either. There's no, you know, the bridge is gone. You know, and that just causes a lot more pain. And so I just think it's really good. I also like it from like an affirmation perspective because there's the repetition of I release you. I think that's really powerful to like have repeating in your mind.
Right.
Yeah, and conditioning you to be like, I release you, I release you, I release you.
Release you, release the relationship, as hard as it is.
Yeah.
So I think this is a beautiful breakup song. Do you find it toxic or empowering?
Empowering.
It's wonderfully empowering.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that they're really addressing, you know, the real issues and also that she has complete control over the situation.
Yeah.
Yes, and I like it.
You don't have to hate someone to break up with them. You don't have to be like, you're a horrible person.
Right.
In order to be like, you know what, this isn't working. Yeah.
Right. Yes. If it's not working, as painful as it is, you can part ways. But maybe not with, the hate and the drama that some other songs portray.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, I love it. Yep. Very empowering. Go listen to it. The whole album is actually really, really great. I love it. There's some really good other songs in there. Oh my God. I think there's one called Scream It Out that I really like as well.
Oh, I'm going to put it on after we're done.
Oh, okay. So good. Right. Oh my God. It covers breakups as well. So, yes, love it. Love the album. And we love you guys. And
we absolutely do.
We're pulling for you. We want you to be healing and going into a much brighter future. And we know it's possible for you. So.
All right. We'll see you next time. Good luck, everyone.
Good luck. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
If you like this episode, tag us on your Instagram story so we can connect with you.
And you can find me, Claire, on Instagram at Claire Lofthouse.
And me, Janice, on Instagram at Janice Formicella. If you'd like to join our online community, find us on Facebook at Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On.
And here's a preview of our next episode.
I am of the mind that if you are involved in a high conflict relationship, or even if you just can't get over your ex, less contact is better for everyone. How good is it for your kids to be involved in some crazy conflict? It's not. So if what you need is less contact for you to be happy and for your ex to be happy and for this to function in a more healthy way, then that's going to be great for your kids. And I used to also do that and say, well, he really needs to know X, Y, and Z right now but it was my way of keeping him. It was my way of, because even when I got divorced, I wasn't really ready to let him go yet. In a lot of cases, that ends up being the underlying reason that you feel like you need that contact.